Hey, what's up guys? Today we're checking out a premium Bandai master grade kit. Here we've got the master grade Gym Semi-Striker. Really cool design as seen in the Gundam Unicorn OVA. I'm not sure if this made an appearance anywhere else other than that, but certainly made an impression on me. That very quick appearance that it had in Gundam Unicorn was super cool, and I just always thought that this looked like a pretty cool kit, so definitely looking forward to checking out the Gym Semi-Striker here for today's video. Let's go ahead and get into it. But so as usual, you guys know how it goes with these P-Bandai kits. There's not too much to see here on the outside of the box. We just basically have the titling. We do have an image, just like the same image that's on the front here on the ends of the box. That's going to be kind of about it. So our main box art there is just going to be a monotone image of the kit. That's the built and painted kit here, and a pretty cool action pose there. You can see, and it looks like there's a Ifrit here in the foreground of the image. That's probably the RE kit. So let's go ahead, pop it open and see our contents here. So really like to see some water slide decals included in there. That's definitely a plus for sure. But let's go ahead and check out the instructions. Now, I guess I should have been clear. This is the Gym 2 Semi-Striker, not the Gym Semi-Striker. I guess not to be confused, but here we have the full color image of what's on the front of the box there. So really cool coloring here for this mobile suit as well. On the backside, here we've got the decal guide where the decals are all going to be placed around on the kit, and our color guide is going to be done here at the bottom. That is going to be all in Japanese and in English. And as you can see, we have a fair amount of decals that are going to be going around here on the kit. Let's actually take a quick peek at these, where it looks like we've got some in white, gray, and red and yellow. Some different EFSF markings. So you have the Australia marking right there, kind of logo, some different numbering that you can use either in gray or in white. So some really nice options here for the decals. But anyway, here in the manual, you can see this also comes with a beam rifle and bazooka there as well, aside from just that, what is that, beam spear? I think it's called something like that anyway. Let's see if it says in the manual. Yeah, here it is, the twin beam spear. There we go. So I was pretty close. So the instructions, just going back up to the front here, for the parts list, you can see there's going to be a lot of leftover parts. I was not expecting there to be so many leftover parts in this kit, but there's quite a lot, it looks like. All right, so we've got our parts list there, and then we're on into the construction. This is going to let us know which runners we need for each section of the build, which is always nice. I always like that. And it's just going to be a pretty straightforward build. Now, the kit that this is based off of, the Gym 2 kit, when did that originally come out? I'm not sure. I have to check a runner here real quick. So it looks like this is at least going to be partially based off of the Gym version 2.0 master grade kit from 2008. But then for the runners from the just regular Gym 2, that's from 2016. So overall, it's either 2008 or 2016 as like the base here for what the parts are going to be from, that this kit's going to be made of, except for like the new parts. Like for example, some of the new parts here for this kit are dated 2018. So basically between 2008 and 2018 is going to be our range of when these parts are actually from. But my point is basically like a relatively simple construction process for this build. While it is a master grade and it's going to have the full inner frame and everything, I think this is going to be, I guess, based on the 2.0 Gym frame, and then the armor parts are a mix of the Gym 2 and then some new armor parts and then weapons parts and everything on there. Let's go ahead and check out the runners here in more detail. But real quick, it looks like we are also going to have some foil stickers included, mostly just for some different camera bits. So that's pretty much it. We've got that one kind of white band there, and that's all for the foil stickers. But now getting into the runners, we've got SB1 for some clear pink beam saber effect parts there. This is the standard 1/100 scale beam saber effect parts. And a PC202 for some polycaps here in gray, just a few of those. The A runner here being from the master grade Gym version 2.0 has some yellow parts, gray parts, clear green parts, and then most of the parts being in this kind of very light beige tan kind of color there. Runner B is going to be in a dark navy color here, once again from the Gym 2.0. Runner C as well from the Gym 2.0. This is in gray polystyrene plastic for some weapons parts and some parts of the frame. Runners E and F here, some more beige colored armor parts here, still from the Gym 2.0 model kit. And the same thing here for runner G, as we're back to some more gray inner frame parts there. And then runners H, I, and J here in gray are going to make up the bulk of our Gym 2.0 frame here. Now, interestingly, runner H is in polystyrene, runner I is in ABS, and runner J is in polystyrene. So it's going to be a mix of mostly PS plastic with a little bit of ABS plastic in there as well. Now we're going to be switching it up to parts from the Master Grade Gym 2 kit. Here for runner L, we've got some parts in gray, yellow, and clear green up there at the top. Runners M1 and M2 here also from the Gym 2 kit, and this is also going to be where we're going to get our pilot figures from there. But then runners N1 and N2 are marked for the Gym 2 UC version. So once again, we've got one part there in gray, some more parts in beige, some more parts in navy, and the same thing here for runner N2. Runners O1 and O2 are kind of interesting here as we're back to gray. Runner O1 on this side. This top half here for runner O1 is labeled a twin beam spear, and then this lower half here for O2 is labeled a hyper bazooka. That's kind of interesting. So the only runners that are marked specifically for the Gym 2 semi-striker are going to be runners P1 and P2 here for some more parts in beige. That's mostly for those shoulder parts there. And then runner P3 is going to be this one little red part here, and that's it. So very interesting. Let's go ahead and get this kit built up and we'll check it out. Alright guys, and here is the kit all built up. Really nice construction process for this one. I've built a number of Master Grade 2.0 Zaku kits lately, but it's been a while since I've built anything based on the 2.0 Gundam frame, and this one is really nice. I do really like the new parts here for this one a lot. Definitely a little bit more interesting of a gym design than just kind of your standard gym, at least in my opinion. I love that it's got the more like Kotoki style feet on it, and just the overall color scheme is really cool. Definitely has a little bit more of a unique and sort of grounded color scheme to it, and a really cool weapon as well, of course. We'll take a look at that here in just a second as we get into checking out our included accessories. So first off, we've got our action base adapter here, which will plug up under the waist, and our standing 1/100 scale pilot figure here, just a generic space suit pilot figure there on a little stand. And you've got a bunch of leftover parts, nothing really too notable except for the Gym's beam spray gun. You have all the parts to make this, so worth building this up just as an extra weapon option to either use with this kit or any other kit that you might want to give that to. But then we've got the beam rifle here. This has a little hole there in the handle for pegging into the hand. The secondary handle on this will move to the side, and you do have a little clear part in there. You may notice looking around the kit that I didn't actually put any of these foil stickers on there just because you have actual clear parts for that, and so I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like without using the foil stickers if you did opt to use the clear parts in there. It's not really going to be very visible, so this is one case where the foil stickers actually will probably work well because it'll actually catch the light a lot better than just that clear green piece. But typically I think this is made with this little block there at the end to be able to plug onto the side skirt here when not in use, but obviously we're not able to do this, so when not in use we don't have anywhere on this kit to be able to store this. But one good option that you may want to look into is maybe just putting a little magnet in there and then inside here or something, or just creating a little peg to stick between the two of these parts if you did want to have this mounted onto the side skirt for an example. And then we've got the bazooka, which is a cool bazooka design here. The secondary handle on this will fold out to the side there. The main handle will move forward and back, so you can hold this in the hand and get it up over the shoulder without any issue there. This one does not have a clear part in there for the lens on that, so maybe could have put the sticker on there. In that case, it's just the pink sticker there for the lens on the bazooka. I did put this sticker on here. It's this very light gray sticker that's meant to just wrap around that part just to give it a little bit of color separation, because otherwise it's just all here in gray. And you are unfortunately going to have a seam line all the way down the length of this. The end parts are separate pieces, but the main body of the bazooka is just going to have a seam on that, unfortunately. But this one as well, when not in use, we don't have anywhere on the kit to store it. It doesn't like attach onto the back skirt or anything like that. Unfortunately, would have been cool if it would in some way, but other than that, it's obviously got the beam saber here on the backpack that can be popped out of there like so, and held in the hand. Kind of a substantial beam saber handle here, a little bit longer, and it has a cool design to it for this one. But that as well, you can see also has the little notch to be able to plug into the hand. And with our backpack being asymmetrical, only having the one beam saber, can only use one of those, and we do have our two beam saber effect parts, but these are going to be used obviously with our twin beam spear, which looks really cool here. This one also has a little notch there in the handle. It has a very long handle here, so you could grab onto here wherever, but it's got one little notch there on both sides, and then two more beam saber handles here at the end, which are the same as the one that's there on the backpack. So you could remove this out of here and basically have two just regular beam sabers in the hand if you wanted to, as those can be removed. But this is basically going to be your main weapon for this variant, and these will move. They are joined to be able to move in tandem there. The part in between that moves them is just kind of a little bit weak there, so you kind of might have to help it out to just straighten it out. Or like when you go to move this one, as you can see, it's like not wanting to move the other one, kind of to help it out a little bit to get going. But that way, if we plug our beam saber effects into here like this, it makes it like a spear. But if you bend those down, it makes it more sort of like a beam scythe, almost sort of like something like the death scythe uses, which is pretty cool. It's also going to make it pretty long here. If we include the beam effect parts, that's going to make it over 32 centimeters in length. For comparison, the main kit itself is about 18 centimeters tall, which is standard kind of master grade size. So some pretty cool weapon options. As for the semi-striker, that's kind of one of the main things, is the fact that it has that cool, very unique weapon. The other thing is that we've got the new parts here for the shoulders, for the forearm, really cool little details on the sides of the head there. The visor looks great in that clear green, would definitely benefit from some painting on the gray part inside there to just be able to see the details underneath the clear visor a little bit more. But again, didn't put the stickers on the head camera there on the front. That is a clear green piece, but you have the foil stickers you can put on there if you want to. That does go around to the back side as well, so you have that clear green part at the back of the head. If you wanted to add an LED or something in here, it would ideally light that up. And then the backpack also has this clear green part on there, but again, if you wanted that to actually catch the light a little bit better, you could opt for using the foil sticker there for that. While we're here, these thruster bells don't really move there, but around here on the front side, the cockpit hatch does open up, and we do have a seated pilot figure up inside there. Just a very simple cockpit hatch opening gimmick here for this one. Kind of interesting detail here on the side of the leg. You have that little cap piece, which gives you that little circular little vernier detail there, I think is what that's meant to be. And on the inside, a different cap piece, which is just flat. So the armor pieces for the leg are symmetrical, but it's just that little square piece is going to be different for the left and the right leg. You're going to put them in opposite ways. As for the rest of the articulation, it is all going to be pretty nice. This doesn't have a core block in it here, of course, so you have a little bit of a bend there in the torso section, not really all that much. And the shoulders will swing to the front a little bit there like that. You can bring the arm up nice and far, rotate it at the bicep, a double joint at the elbow. The wrist is on a ball joint, but then also has a hinge in the wrist for moving it back and forth. The thumb is a single piece, and then the first finger is on its own ball joint with a bend in the knuckle. The second, third, and fourth fingers are joined together, but they're each on their own ball joint, so you could cut them apart for individual movement if you wanted to. And each of those also has a bend in the finger there as well. The neck is on a double joint, but doesn't really have a whole lot of room to move up and down necessarily. A little bit there. Side to side is really kind of going to be the main extent of movement here in the head. Does have a really cool look there on the back of the head with the little antenna. I like that quite a bit. And the skirting armor is all able to move individually with a little bit of frame on the inside, basically the part that's just like connecting the skirt armor. The back skirt is just one piece here, and it can move up and down a little bit, but I find it's popping off the ball joints there. As you can see, it's connected via these two ball joints on the sides, and it doesn't want to stay on there all that well, so be a little bit careful with that. At the hip, we're able to bring the leg out to the side until you pop off the side skirt there. Be careful of that. But as much as the side skirt will allow, you can bring the leg out to the side, and kind of the same goes for the front. If you bring the leg up too far to the front, it's going to be pushing the torso up off of here and basically just wanting to separate it off there like that. But barring that, you do have rotation there at the top of the thigh and a double joint here at the knee, which is going to give you some nice separation of that knee armor there. Down here, this ankle armor is able to move up and down on its own. You can point the toe down, you can point the toe up, and we do have some really nice detail up underneath. As you can see here for the foot, it is going to be separated into 3 sections, as this front toe section does move a little bit up and down there on its own as well. And then for side-to-side movement, you got a pretty good range of side-to-side movement here at the ankle to be able to get a kind of wide stance while keeping the feet flat on the ground there like so. So even though the twin beam spear is going to be the main weapon that most people are going to want to use with this, because that's like kind of the signature unique weapon to this kit, one of the main reasons for buying this kit in the first place, I think, it is cool that you do have some pretty nice options between the bazooka and the beam rifle, and then if you want to include it as well, also the beam spray gun. But like I said, it's just part of your leftover parts, but you have that as a weapon option as well. So some really cool options. And then I guess if you wanted to just use a regular beam saber, you could use that as well. So yeah, some really nice options with this one, but definitely that twin beam spear is going to be the star of the show, as it's such a cool weapon and very just unique. As I said, it's just not something that we really see on much of anything outside of basically the kind of the closest thing would be the beam scythe that the Death Scythe has, and that's not even in the same universe, it's in a different universe. So in the Universal Century, we don't really see anything quite like this outside of the Gym Striker and Gym Semi-Striker here. So really cool design. Love the color scheme as well. The colors on this mobile suit are really nice. You know, when it comes to painting a kit, I always like to give it my own kind of twist and change up the color scheme to something original. But this is one where, I mean, I would definitely be tempted to want to just basically stick to this same color scheme on this one because I do like it a lot and it fits the mobile suit's design really, really well. But what do you guys think about this kit? Let me know in the comment section below. This is a really good example of what I think, you know, P-Bandai was kind of always meant to be about, where it's basically just a color swap of a suit that's already available as a standard release. And we have a handful of new parts in there. In this case, there's just a couple of new parts for around on the body. We have that new weapon, and that's kind of about the extent of it. This is basically what P-Bandai, I think, was originally meant to be when it first started out, and what the first handful of kits that we saw out from Premium Bandai, they were all kind of like this, with like another good example being like the unicorn version of the Marasai was another very early release in the Premium Bandai lineup that was similar to this in that it was basically just a recolor with a couple of new parts for the weapon, and that's about it. And so it always sucks when any cool kit is a Premium Bandai exclusive and not more widely available for more people to enjoy. But at the very least, this is kind of what Premium Bandai was always sort of meant to be, I think, and not a situation where it's like a completely original suit, a completely original kit that's made exclusively only for Premium Bandai. That's when it just kind of sucks to have a Premium Bandai exclusives. But anyway, guys, check the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. We don't have Premium Bandai kits like this, but plenty of other Gunpla there on the website for you all to check out, as well as paints, tools, and supplies, and all that good stuff. So check out that website. And thank you all so much for checking out the video here today as well. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. If you are not yet subscribed, you can subscribe there as well, just below the video. And thank you all so much for all of your support. Until next time, hope y'all are having a great day. See y'all later. Bye, guys.